So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a function and I'm going to provide a command to this button, that particular function. Okay, I'm going to call that particular function from this register button. Okay, so when I'm going to call that function, so whenever I'll click this button, register now button, so that particular function will be called, and whatever functionality you must have written inside that function, that will be executed. Okay, so we have to attach a function with this button. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so here, yeah, so here we have to give a command. Okay, command equals to some function name that we will be just defining. So I'm giving a register. Okay, because we want to register, you can give any function name, it's up to you. So right now this is showing error because this function is not yet defined. Okay, so we need to define this function. So whenever you will click this register button, this function will be called, this register function will be called. So where we will be defining it, we will be defining it at the top. Okay, you can define it anywhere, but I generally prefer to define it at the top. And of course you cannot define it just after this, just after providing command and then after here or here at the bottom, because first in Python is an interpreted language. So first thing is the interpreter which checks is the definition. If the definition is there, then the calling will happen. Okay, so first of all we need to add the definition here. Okay, so I'm going to add a definition at the top, so it is separated. So here you can give a command also, that we are now going to do the functions part. Okay, so here we will be doing the functions coding, and here this was complete GUI part. Okay, so this was GUI, how to create GUI, and now we are doing the functionality part here. Okay, and these are the importing lines, right? So let's create the functionality here. So what functionality we need to do? So I'll be simply defining the function with the help of def keyword, def register. Okay, and if inside this I simply write a print statement saying hello. Okay, and if I simply run this, see what will happen when I'll click this register now button. Okay, so this register function will be called and whatever inside it will be executed. So you will see a print on this console here. Okay, so let me just run this. If I click on this register button, you'll see output here. Okay, see hello. Okay, if I run it again, click on this button multiple times, you'll see that hello is getting printed. Okay, because we have only passed this hello statement inside this register function. Okay, but we do not have to pass this. I was just telling you how is working. Okay, so what we need to do here, first of all, we will check that if all the entry fields, if all the entry fields are empty or not. Okay, if all the entry fields of the GUI will be empty, right now you will get error, that indentation block. So what I'll do, I'll use pass right now because I'm not doing any coding, so I'll simply pass for now so that no error occurs. So what I want right now, that if every field is empty, okay, if any of the field is empty, like for example if you fill these 6 here and you left these 2 empty and click on this register now button, so it will display a message box with the error message box which will say that all fields are required. Okay, so what we need to do, we firstly we will check here if the entry fields are empty or not. Okay, so the entry first name, so this was a entry first name we given to that particular entry field, right? If I just show you here, yeah, so this is the entry, this is the first name entry, and this is the variable name I have given. Okay, so with the help of this, we will check that is there anything entered inside this entry field or not. Okay, so how will we check? We will write entry first name, object name, then dot, and then get method of this entry class. Okay, so this get, what it will do, it will simply take everything which you write on that entry field. Okay, if you will write hello there, so this get method will take that hello and will return hello. Okay, if you'll print this line, you'll get hello. Okay, I'll check it with a null value. Okay, so if there is nothing written inside that particular entry field, so you'll get a null value. So I'll simply compare that whatever is inside get value, if is it equal to null or not. So if it is equal to null, or similarly we will be checking for all other entry fields. So entry last name dot get equals to null, and then or entry email dot get equals to null, or entry contact dot get equals to null. Okay, and see, this is a condition we are writing here. Okay, this is the condition we are writing here, right? If this condition will be true, then this if condition will be true, and we'll move to the if block. If this will be false, then we will not be moving inside this if block. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use a backslash here. Okay, so why this backslash? So that I can move to a new line. Okay, so to move to a new line, you have to use a backslash. Okay, so I write or here. Okay, or like this. Okay, so if you without using this backslash, if you will move to a new line, so this will give you error. Okay, because this complete thing will be only inside this if condition. Okay, but I want to add few more things, and I do not want to go beyond this window, so that is why I'm moving to a new line. So to make everything into a single condition, you have to write this backward slasher. So here, after entry contact, next thing is entry password. Okay, so it is entry. So there is a problem here. Okay, it has to be or entry password. Okay, dot get equals to null. Okay, after this entry password, we'll also check for confirm password, or confirm password not label, entry confirm password dot get equals to null, or for combo box. Okay, so this is a combo box dot get equals to, if it is equals to select. Okay, means nothing is selected. Okay, if this you will get from this combo box, if you get this select only, which is selected. Okay, then this condition will be true. Okay, or then entry answer dot get. Okay, equals to null. So what I'll do, I'll again move to a new line just by placing a backslash here. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is completely one condition. This is complete one condition. Okay, entry question, entry answer. Okay, now semicolon, and from here our condition is over. So this is a complete our condition. Okay, so what I am doing here is I am simply checking if all the entry fields are empty or not. If any one of the entry field will be empty, this or condition will be true. Okay, so if any of the entry field is empty is equals to null, this if condition will be true here. Okay, or if any of the means this combo box is set to only select. Okay, If this is set to select only, then this condition will be true. Okay, so this way or works. Here it's entry confirm password, and here it's password. Okay, so all the fields are included here. Next thing is that we have to write a message box. Okay, so I'll simply show error message box. So before using a message box, we have to import. So we have to write from tkinter import message box. Okay, we have to import a message box. Now we can use this message box. So message box dot show error. Okay, so show error is a method of this message box module. Okay, and here in this show error, first thing we have to pass a title here, which you will see on the title bar. So this is the title, and then the message that will be displayed here. So the message that you will see is all fields are required. required. Okay, and yeah, this is correct. Now if I run this, you'll see this. So see, nothing is, I have entered nothing, so all are empty, all are equal to null right now. So if I'll click on this register now, so we are getting a message box displayed with a message that all fields are required here. Okay, so this is how it works. But if you enter something, and similarly here also, similarly here, and if you don't if you keep it select only and you enter something here, then also, and then same here. Okay, see, everything is, all the entry fields are completed, but this is select. Okay, this, nothing else is selected here. So if I click on the register now, still you are getting this message that all fields are required. Okay, because we have used all there. Or means that if any condition is true, okay, then complete if condition will be true. Okay, so we have to select any of the question here, then we can click on this register now. Okay, see, I'm not getting any error message here, right? Because after that, if we have done nothing, that is why nothing is happening here. Okay, so the next thing, after checking that if the fields are not empty, okay, if the fields will be empty, you will receive a message box that all fields are required. Okay, next thing that I want to check for is whether this password and confirm password are same or not. If they will not be same, then we will be displaying a message that password mismatch. If they are same, then it will move to a new line, means a new condition. Okay, so just after this condition, we will check another condition. So to check another condition in Python, we use elif. Okay, and in this elif, we will simply take this entry password dot get. Okay, so whatever this entry password will get, if it is not equals to, if it is not equals to entry confirm password dot get. Okay, means whatever you are writing inside this entry password which is not similar to this entry confirm password, then you will again receive a error message box. Okay, so message box dot show error. Okay, and the title will be error, and the message this time you will receive is password mismatch. Okay, so this is the error message that you will receive. Now if I run this, so if I select something here and if I type anything here, similarly here, so just to make these fields non-empty, I'm typing it, and then here if I type 1 2 and here I type 1 2 3. Okay, see, everything is filled here. So the if condition, first if condition will be false. Okay, so we'll move to the elif part. Okay, the elif condition. So see, we are getting a message password mismatch. Okay, but if you make any of the field empty, then the if condition will be true first. So we'll receive the if condition message box that all fields are required, right? So this is how it works. So I hope you understood. Okay, password mismatch. But if I match the password, you will not get any message right now because we have not done any functionality yet, right? So I hope you guys have understood till now. So after this, what I'll check the next is this condition for this check button. Okay, if it is checked or not. So if it is unchecked, okay, so we will again receive a message box that please agree to our terms and conditions. Okay, if it is unchecked. Okay, so let's do the coding for that. So before doing its coding, we will be creating a variable for this. Okay, I told you that I'll be explaining why we are using this on value and off value in this check button, right? This on value represents that you have checked the button. Okay, so when you check it, it means the on value. Okay, if you unchecked it, it means that off value. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable here, variable equals to check. Okay, and just before this I'm going to describe this variable. So check equals to int variable. Okay, I'm going to make it int variable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable which is integer variable. Okay, and then I am passing a variable in this check button class. Okay, this variable check. Okay, so what this variable check will store, this variable check will either store this on value or it will store the off value. So if you'll check the button, so inside this check we will have 1, and if you'll uncheck the button, so inside this check variable we will have 0. Okay, so let's just, we will check this only in this condition inside this register function. So we'll check elif check the variable that we just created dot get. Okay, we'll use get method to get the value. Okay, if this value is equal to 0, means you have unchecked it. Okay, means you have not checked it. Okay, so if this is a case, then we will simply display a message box dot show error. Okay, and here the title will be error, and the message that I'm going to display is please agree to our terms and okay, like this. So if I run now, and if I click register now like this, you'll get all fields are required. And if I fill something, similarly here also, and I have to give a correct password here in both the fields. Okay, now if I click this register now, so we are getting this error message, please agree to our terms and conditions. Okay, so if I'll check it, means that condition will be false, and now we will not receive any message box. Okay, but if I uncheck it, now that check variable has a value of 0, and that condition will be true, and we will receive this message box here. Okay, so I hope you guys are understanding. Okay, slash ask, can you explain the this backward slash that I have used here? See, this backward slash is simply helping us in making this whole thing a single condition. Okay, that's it. If you'll not use this backslash, suppose if I don't use here, and similarly here, and if I try to run it, see, we are getting error. If you can see here, we are getting errors here. Okay, if you can see, and if you'll run, then also you'll get error. So to make this complete thing if condition, we have to use backward slash so that we can move to a new line. Okay, and everything remains in one condition. That is why we have used that. I hope you understood. So after this, yeah, so after displaying this message box, please agree to our terms and conditions. The next thing is, so all these validations I have used, all the three validations, that if nothing will be entered, we will get this message box. Okay, if you will mismatch this password, confirm password, then we will get a password mismatch error. Okay, if you will not select this agree to our terms and condition, then you will get error message box, right? So all this we have seen. Okay, the next thing is now we need to connect it with the database, that if you are entering everything correctly, okay, everything, and checking this, so when I click this register now button, what it should do, it should store this complete data into our database. Okay, so firstly what we need to do, we need to create a database. Okay, so how to create a database? So I hope everyone must have downloaded MySQL installed in their PCs. If not, they can install it later on also. They can just see me how I'm doing it. Okay, and once you'll receive the recordings, and then you can simply do it. Okay, so what you have to do, just after downloading, you can search for MySQL command line. Okay, so MySQL, okay, command line, this one, command line client. Okay, you just have to open this. Okay, and here while installing the setup, they will ask you about the password and the username. Okay, so you have to give your username. So by default, generally the username is root, and you set your password. Okay, so I have set my password here. Okay, so I have entered my password, and if I click this enter, so it says welcome to MySQL monitor. Okay, here we can create a database. So first of all, we will be creating a database. Okay, then after that we will be connecting that database with this register.py. Okay, so how to use this? So I'll not go deep into this MySQL. Okay, because this is not what I'm going to teach you. Okay, so right now we just require that we need to create a database here. Okay, so first thing is we use commands here. So show databases. So what is database? Database is basically a place where we store all our data. Okay, so data is basically stored in our memories. Okay, so that data can be stored in a relational tables form. So here we are using rdbms, so this mysql is rdbms. So the data which is stored in this database is in the form of tables. Okay, so we store everything in the form of tables in this mysql relational database. Okay, so if I click on this show databases, so to terminate this means the ending of this is decided with a semicolon. Okay, and if I click this, so these are all the databases that are already present in my database. Okay, these are all the databases are. Okay, so the next thing is that we need to use a particular database. So I just want to show you that the database which I have created for this one, this uh, yeah, so this one, I just want to show you this database which I have created. Okay, this is before running this one. Let me just show you. So the database that I have created here, let me just check first which database I've used here. Mm, yeah, it's employee 2. Okay, so this employee 2 database I have used. Okay, so I have written first line, first command, show databases. So these are all the databases. Now if you want to use any particular database, so you have to write use employee. Okay, so this is the database name, employee 2. So I'm going to use this. Okay, and hit enter. So database changed. Okay, so now we are inside this employee 2. Okay, if I write show tables, okay, so if there is any tables or not, so there is one table by a name employee. Okay, so this is a table name employee. Okay, if I see its description, so I'll write disk and employee and semicolon. So with this disk, we will see all the rows and columns which are present inside this table. Okay, so this is only the table inside this. Okay, employee 2. So if I hit enter, so see, we have these columns here. So id is the column, f name first name, l name means last name, then contact, then email, then question answer, and then password. Okay, so these are the things. And if you notice this closely, this column id, this column id, see, we will see how we can create it, but just now I'm just showing you how this database is working. Okay, so first field is this id here, and if you see this is set to null, means no null values will be there, means in this id column no column will be empty. Okay, and I have set it as a primary key. I hope you guys have understood, means you guys have read about MySQL and what is a primary key. Okay, so primary key is a unique key where we have unique values in that particular column. Okay, and I have set it to auto increment, so it will automatically increase. So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to write a query here, select star from employee. Okay, so what this star will do, it will basically show us all the columns here. Okay, so this is a column. Okay, select star from employee means it will show all the columns here. So id, f name, l name, so these are all the columns, and its data is shown here. Okay, so this is the data that we have stored here inside this, right? So this is our database. So in this database, if you see, I can log in with any of these email addresses here. Okay, so if you see, I have also given one as an email. Okay, and then a password of 1235 12345. Okay, if I try to log in with this one, you'll see. Let me just log in with this one so that you guys can understand. Okay, I'll simply click on this login because I know the I already created the account. So one, and the password is 12345. If I click, see, if there will no, if there in the database, if there is no data as such with this email or this password, you will receive that invalid username or password. But if there is data with this email and this password, then we will be getting a welcome success message. Okay, so means this data exists there. Okay, and whatever, and then after, if you register, okay, if you will register, so see, last time we registered this Dia, right? Dia one, Dia Sharma. Okay, and I have given a best friend name Faizan. I also showed you in the starting that how we can change the password also. Okay, so see, the last name which we registered is at the last. Okay, so if you want to register any other name, you will receive it as a 16 id. Okay, see, the id numbers are different here. Okay, so this is how it works. So I hope you understood. This is the database which I have already created for my this project. Okay, now I am creating a new project, so I'll be creating a new database. Okay, so just to show you how we can create a database here, let's start. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to, and if you want to exit this window, you can write like this. Okay, backward slash and then q, it represents quit. Okay, so I was just telling you, now what we need to do, we need to open it again so that I can, oh sorry, open, not open, but MySQL, yeah, command line. Okay, so backslash t is used for quitting, backslash q, sorry, backslash q. Okay, and here now we need to create a database. Okay, and once you open here, you can type this backslash h, you will get a lot of help here. Okay, lot of statements which you can use in this. Okay, it will be a guide kind of thing. So now we need to create a database here. Okay, so how we can create a database, we have to simply write like this: create database. Okay, so what database should I create? uh, Let me create with the name register. Okay, so this is the database that I'm creating with the name register here. Okay, and then semicolon, and then if I hit enter. Okay, query okay, one row affected and 0.092 seconds taken in this executing this query. Okay, so this query is correct. Okay, query is okay. Next thing is, after creating this database, now if I will write a command like show databases, so you will see this particular database there, register. Okay, next thing is, after creating this database, if I just show you that how many database are there. Now show databases. Okay, so if you see, we got this register database here, right? So now this register database is created. Okay, next thing is, we need to use this register database. Okay, so I'm going to write use register. Okay, use register, so database is changed now. Okay, so after using the database, now what we need to do, since we are inside this register database, we need to create table. Okay, if I'll write right now like show tables. Okay, since there are no tables right now because we haven't created any table, so it will show us empty set. Okay, because there are no tables inside this database. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to create a table. Okay, so see right now, since there is no table inside this register database, so it's showing empty set, right? So we need to create a table. Okay, so let's create a table here. So how will create a table, we'll write create. Okay, then we need to create a table here. So create table, and then after that we have to write by which name, means the name of the table. We have to write the name of a table here. So I'll go with student. Okay, okay, this is the table name that I am giving here. Create table student. Okay, and then after that you have to mention what way means what will be the columns inside this student table. Okay, so inside this, uh, what variables we will be using, we'll be using id. Okay, and then we have to mention a data type. I'll be using id as integer. Okay, and then the next thing is, I'll auto increment it. So auto increment. Okay, and then I'll make it primary key also. So primary key. Okay, and I also told you that this primary key cannot be null, so I'll be writing not null. Okay, because the primary key column, this id column can never be null. Okay, then only we can make it as a primary key. Okay, so that is why I'm writing this id int auto increment, because I want auto increment, that after one it will be 2 3 4 5 6, like this id should increase when I add the data inside it. Okay, and I'm setting it as a primary key, so it all the values, all the id column values will be changed, means will be different. Okay, will not be same. And then I'm making it not null because id cannot be null here. Okay, there has to be some id. So after that, we can separate it by comma, and then the next thing. So after id, what the next things we require? We require first name. So f underscore name. Okay, and then after that we have to use a variable here. Okay, this is of varchar. Okay, then we need to mention the size. So I'll go with 50. Okay, so f name will be of 50 characters. This means, okay, this varchar means that this many characters can be given to this f name column. Okay, so I'm giving it 50, you can give it 100 or 200, it's up to you. Okay, if if you will type larger name greater than these 50 characters, then you will get error that it is too long. Okay, so you can change it according to your size. Then separated by comma, then next thing, that is last name. Okay, see here, if I show you, I minimize this window, and if I run this, not this one, our main one. Yeah. So if I run this window, you see first name, last name, contact, email, security question, answer, password. Okay, and for confirm password I'll not create it. Okay, I'll not create any column for confirm password because the password and confirm password will have same values. Okay, so we have to create total 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 columns, and actually it will be 8 columns because we are also adding id there, right? So total there are 8 columns, so we have to create 8 columns. So first is id, then first name, then last name. So last name varchar, I am also giving it a 50 value. Okay, then after that, if I see here, so first name, last name, then we have contact, then email. Okay, so comma contact. Okay, varchar. Okay, so since contact can have only 10 values, okay, because or you can give any value, it's up to you, because the number have 10 digits only, so that is why I'm giving 10 value. Okay, next thing is after varchar, after contact we have email. So I have to create an email column also. So varchar. Okay, for email I'll give maybe 100 characters. And after email, then what next? We have security question, then answer, and then password. Okay, so I'll write it question. Okay, and this will also be a varchar variable, variable character, and how many characters? I'll pass 100. Okay, then next is the answer, and here also I'm providing 100. Similarly, last one is password. Okay, and password I'm going to provide is maybe 50, or you can keep it 100, it's up to you. Okay, I told you if you'll keep low values, what will happen. Okay, so just after providing this, okay, so we have written this command create table. Okay, create table is student, so the name of the table will be student, and these will be the columns. Okay, so first thing is id, I have auto incremented it, then I have used a primary key. Okay, so this id is now a primary key, then I have kept it not null. Okay, so it will not have any values, null values. Okay, then first name with 50 characters, or you can change it to 100, be on a safer side. Okay, so this query is completed. Now if I will write show tables, okay, so now we have this student table here. Okay, if you want to see the description of it, so you have to write description student. Okay, semicolon. Okay, so this is the description here. See here we have set it to no, means the null values cannot be accepted here. Okay, then I have made it a primary key, and then I have auto incremented it, right? So this is how you have to create your table, right? So we have created our table. Next thing is that we have to, because right now if I try to see what is inside in my table, select star from student, so you will see nothing. Okay, empty set, right? Because we haven't added any data right now. Okay, so you can simply write a query here that you want to insert some data. Okay, you can simply write a query here if you want to insert any data. Okay, but I do not want to write any query right now here, actually. Okay, but it's very easy. You can simply write insert into student. Okay, student values, then in this you have to pass all the values. Okay, the first name, the last name, everything. Okay, but I do not want to give like this. Okay, so I have created this table. I'm simply going to minimize it. Now I'm going to code further in this project, right? So after checking this condition, elif condition, the next thing is that if all these condition fails, means this one means user has entered everything correctly, so this condition will be false. Okay, we'll move to this one. If user has entered both the password, confirm password same, so this condition will again false. And then this one, if you have checked the check button, then this condition will also be false. And then we will move to the else part, right? The last one, else part. Okay, inside this else, now we are going to connect with our database. Okay, so for connecting with our database, we require a driver here. Okay, that driver is known as PyMySQL. Okay, PyMySQL. So how you can load that data? So for right now, just I hope everyone have installed it. So PyMySQL. Okay, import PyMySQL. Okay, now it's imported. So in the else part, what we will do, firstly we will connect with the database. Okay, so let's connect with the database. So how we will be connecting? We will be writing PyMySQL dot connect. Okay, so this PyMySQL module has a connect method, okay, which will help us to connect with the database. And here we have to pass all the information. So first of all, the host here. Okay, so host here, for all the systems, you guys will be you guys are on a local host, so you have to simply write here localhost. Okay, so this is the host name. Okay, next thing is the user. User is the generally when you install the setup, they ask you for user and password. So if you have not given any user there, so by default it must be root. Okay, but I have given some username. So see, if you will give username, so you will have two username. One is root, that is by default, another one that you must have given. So I've given Faizan also, and root will be by default. So I can use root also and this Faizan also username. Next thing is the password. Okay, password here. So password that I have given is 1234. Okay, this is the password. Please guys, don't misuse it. Okay, if you can. Next is, after this user and password, then we have to name the database with which we want to connect. Okay, so I told you there are so many databases that I have created. If I'll write employee2, so I will be connected with employee2. Okay, but the database that I have just now created is this register, right? So I'll be connecting with register database. Okay, so this is the database name, and make sure you keep it in a form of a string. Okay, so I'm firstly connecting with the database, that is register. Okay, you can connect with any database, it's up to you. Okay, but make sure you have those columns there which I have just created. Okay, now this will return the object and we will store it in any variable con. Okay, so this con is a variable name. Next thing is, to execute any of the commands, okay, we require a cursor. Okay, so cursor is a method of this connect method, PyMySQL. Okay, so we'll write con dot cursor. Okay, con dot cursor. So this cursor will store it in any variable cur. Okay, whatever this will return, this will basically return a pointer. That pointer will be used to execute our queries. Okay, so this cur will now be used to execute our queries. Okay, so after doing this, the next thing is we have to execute. So I'm going to write cur dot execute, and what I have to execute, I have to execute this in the form of a string. Okay, select star from the table name was student, right? The table name just I created was student. So select star from student where email equals to percent s. Okay, so email will have this value percent s, which I'll be just going to do it. So this percentage is basically a formatted string. Okay, percent s, and after that, which this percentage will be replaced with the value that I am writing just after this comma. Okay, so I'm going to write entry email dot get. Okay, so whatever you are getting from the entry email, that will be replaced here. Okay, what I'm doing here is that I am simply checking that the username, whatever things username has typed inside this form. Okay, I'm checking this column, this email one. Okay, I'm checking if this email already exists in our database or not. If this email already exists in our database, then we will be displaying an error message that user already exists, right? So that is why I am executing this query here. Okay, so select star from student where email equals to, so we will select all the columns of this email. Okay, means all the rows of this email column. Okay, after that, what we will do, we will get a row. Okay, we will get a row here. Row equals to cur dot fetch one. Okay, what this will do, this will simply return a row. This will simply return a row if this is true. Okay, first thing, this will be executed, so this will display something on your screen. Okay, the emails, right? And I will simply select a row which user has typed. Okay, means if I just tell you that Dia, the first email ID that I use was dia@gmail.com. Okay, so we dia@gmail.com, that will be displayed there. Okay, that row will be fetched and will be stored inside this row variable. Okay, inside this row variable. Okay, if row variable, if this row is not equals to none, if this row is not equals to none, then we will simply show error. Okay, so message box dot show error. I'll be just explaining this once more. So error, and the message is user already exists. Okay, so what is happening here? If row is not equals to none, if row is not equals to none, means there is some row with this particular email ID. Okay, so if there is some row with that particular email ID that we received inside this variable, and we will simply checking if this is not equals to none, so we will simply display that user already exists in our database. Okay, so we are selecting columns from this student table where email is that email which you are entering on the registration form. Okay, if that is returned, means if that column is returned and will be stored inside this row. Okay, that complete row, and if that row has that email. Okay, so if this is not equals to none, means there is that particular email, and then we will be simply displayed with this message. Okay, that user already exists. Okay, so for now in this database there are no emails already existing, so whatever you will create, this condition will not be true first time. Okay, first time this condition will not be true. Okay, so what we will do, we will simply move to the else part. In the else part, okay, else. if means there is nothing inside this row. Okay, that means the user is writing the email for the first time. Okay, if there is nothing inside this row variable, so means the user is writing something for the first time, that particular email. Okay, then we will move to the else part here. Okay, and in the else part, what we will be doing here is we will simply be executing a command to insert. Okay, cur dot execute. Okay, so we are using this cursor to execute our commands. Okay, these commands we would have written directly in our database, but since we are connecting it with Python, that is why we are writing all these commands here. Okay, and here what we have to write, we have to insert. Okay, means the user have written a unique email ID, right? So in that case the else part will execute, and in the else part what we are going to do, we are simply going to insert into this student table, this student table. And what we will insert, we will insert values. Okay, so here what we need to insert, we need to insert first name. Okay, we will insert first name, comma l name, that is last name. Okay, then email, then contact. Okay, and then question, after that answer, and then password. Okay, f name, l name, then email, then contact, or I think contact is first, then we have email, right? If I run this, it will not be able to run right now, so let me just check this one. Yeah, so contact is first, then we have email. So what I'll do, I'll simply change here. So we will change it to email, and email will change to contact. Okay, so these are all the names, and then we have to add values. Okay, so let me add values here, and values we will be using percent %s. Okay, for all these, percent %s, comma percent %s, comma percent %s. Okay, so this way we'll be doing. So how many are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so we'll be creating 7%. So these are basically formatted strings. Okay, these percent %s will be replaced with these values. Okay, so v percent %s 336, then comma percent %s. Okay, so percent %s, we got this. Okay, next thing is that after entering this, we will be entering all the names here, comma. Okay, then we will be entering the names here. Okay, so first of all we will get the first name, this f name we will get from this entry first name variable. Okay, dot get. Okay, entry first name dot get. Okay, so this value will be represented whatever user will enter here. Okay, first name dot get. Okay, similarly we have to do for other. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this to a new line, and here I'll be entering all the names here. So entry first name dot get, then after that entry last name dot get. Okay, then we have contact, entry contact dot get. Okay, then after that entry contact, we have combo box, combo question dot get. Okay, so after entry we have actually email, right? So email, entry email dot get. Okay, then let's move to a new line. After email, then we have combo box. Okay, then after that the answer, entry answer dot get, and then we have the password. So password, entry password dot get. Okay, so what I am doing here, I am simply inserting into this student table. What I am inserting? I am inserting values. Okay, and that values, these percent s will be replaced with these values that we will get from these entry fields. Okay, so whatever values you will give in these entry fields, that will be inserted at these positions, these columns of that particular table, student table. Okay, insert into student, and whatever values that I'll be inserting, so these formatted percent s will be replaced with these values, whichever you will enter in these particular entry fields, right? So I hope you understood what query we have written here. I hope everyone have studied this MySQL. If not, then it's very simple. Okay, so after writing this complete thing, then what we have to do, we have to simply commit. So we'll be writing con.commit. Okay, so that this execute query should be executed, this insert query. So to execute this insert, if I want to insert anything, we have to write dot commit method. Okay, so this will help us in inserting that, and then con.close. Okay, we will simply close our database. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'll simply display a message box after closing it, that show info. I'll simply show information. So first thing is title, so I'll write success here instead of success. Okay, and then I'll write a message that registration is successful. Registration is successful, right? Registration is successful. Okay, so let's just run this now and see if we are getting any kind of errors or not. Okay, so I'm running this one. Okay, so let's enter a name here. So there is nothing inside that particular table right now. Okay, so we are entering the first thing. Okay, so let me write a name. Okay, I don't know the surname, maybe digital. Okay, then we have any contact number, and make sure only 10 digits will be should be there, because we have given the size as 10 characters. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, and then any email like tanmay@gmail.com. Okay, then I have to select a security question here. So your best friend name, my name. Okay, and then the password here, I'm setting it 123, and here also I have to set the same password, otherwise I'll get error. And also I have to check this terms and conditions, otherwise I'll get error. So I'm checking it and I'm clicking register now. Nothing has happened. Why? This didn't work. Got error. Yeah, so what is the error? Yeah, so what we are going to do here, we will be keeping everything in try and accepting. Okay, so in the cells part, I'll keep this thing complete in a try block. Okay, so I'll simply give some indentation. So I'm pressing tab key here, and then I'll be simply displaying whatever is inside this e variable. Okay. So for using this e variable, we will be using f string here. Okay. And error will be writing a message first. So error due to, and then the variable name. So variable name has to be inside this curly braces. So the variable name is e. Okay. So you will be displayed with a message that error due to, and then whatever is inside this e variable. So whatever exception you'll get will be stored inside this e variable, and that will be displayed at this position. Okay. So this is how we receive the error here. Oh, okay. Such a silly mistake I have done here. Yeah, and here also I missed a percent symbol. Okay, and here also. See what is the mistake I have done. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it has to be 7 here. Wait, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 3 and then 4. Okay, yeah. Now it's fine. Let me run it again. So I did a mistake there. So let me go again for Tanmay and change here contact number, email tanmay@gmail.com. Oh, I don't know the answer. Dot. Okay, the password is 12 and confirm password 12. Okay, click this register. So registration is successful. Okay, so we are done with this. Okay, if I'm clicking on OK button, see, if I'm clicking on OK button, I want that everything which is written here in this field, everything should be deleted. Okay, whatever is written in these entry fields, this should be this should be set back to the select. Okay, this should be unchecked, and everything in these entry fields should be deleted. So how we can do that? So just after receiving the message that registration is successful, okay, what we can do here, just after this, we can call a function here. We can call a function here, or we can directly write the code here after just after this only. Okay, just after this only we can write a code here. So what we can do, let me just create a separate function here, right, for clear. So what I'll do, I'll simply call a function from here, clear. Okay, so that clear function, what it will do, it will simply clear everything. Okay, so that is why I'm calling at this position. Just after receiving this message, I'm calling this, but this function is not yet defined. That is why the error is shown here. Okay, we need to define this function. So you can define it just before this def register function. Okay, you can define it here. So def clear. Okay, now we need to define this function. You could have written the code directly here also, instead of calling a function, or it's up to you how you do it. Okay, you can call or either write the complete thing there. Okay, so what I want, that every text area should be deleted. Okay, so for deleting every text area, we have to use the object name here. So entry first name dot get, oh sorry, dot delete, because we want to delete everything. And from where to where? From 0th position till end, I want to delete everything. Okay, same thing I have to do for last name also. So entry last name dot delete. Okay, from 0 till end, everything will be deleted. And similarly, I'm simply copying it. So Control D will help us to copy the same line. So next will be, instead of this last name, it will be contact maybe. Okay, this can be in any order, it's up to you. Okay, entry contact, then next will be email, after that answer, okay, and then password and confirm password, okay. So everything will be deleted till here. The next thing is that we have to delete, we have to make a combo box to reset with that 0th index value, that was select, okay. So we'll use the same thing that we did there. We will write combo question dot current, okay, and we'll set the current value, which is 0, okay. That's it. And also we need to uncheck the check button also, okay. So for unchecking it, so what we'll do, we'll simply set the value for this variable, okay, and we'll set the value as 0, okay. So 0 represents that the button will be unchecked, okay. And I have defined this function here, and I have called this function just after displaying this success message, right? Now if I run it again, okay, let me just type my name this time, any random number, okay, email. See, if you will increase the number length above 10, because we have given 10 characters only, okay, you will receive error message. Okay, so I agree to all the terms and conditions, and if I click on this register now, see, error due to data too long for column contact at row 1, okay. So we are getting this. So contact has to be only 10 characters, okay, maximum 10 characters. So 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so less than 10 will be okay, but okay. So if I click register now, so see, registration is successful. Once I click this OK button, that clear function will be called and everything will be cleared from here, right? And this is again set back to select. Next thing is, after doing this, what I want, that once this registration is successful, we should move to our that login page, right? Where we have to write our username and password, email ID and password, okay. So so we have to create that that login page first, okay. Then we will be simply importing it here just after this, okay. So right now what I want to show you, that the database I want to show you. So I have entered two registration details, so let's check if there is or not, okay. So I'm simply closing this one, and let me just open this again. So MySQL command line client, okay, 1 2 3 4, okay. Here first of all, show databases, so that we can see databases. So it's very easy with MySQL, okay. There's nothing tough, okay. All the commands are easy. So show databases, you will see all the databases. So we have this register database, right? So we are going to use this register, use register and semicolon, okay. So database change to register, okay. Now show tables. So just to see how many tables are there, so there is only one table, student, okay. Now we can see description of this student. So see, these this is the description, okay. Now we need to see all the columns, so we'll write a query here, select star from student, okay, semicolon, and see, this is the columns and the details, okay. I have entered two details here, and see, this id is automatically incrementing, okay. So we have entered these details, right? This, okay. Now with this data only, we will be checking all those conditions, like forget password and all that, okay. So first of all, I've shown you. Let's now create that login page. Okay. So we have created this register.py file and it's done, I think. Okay. And if there is any change, I'll do it later on. Okay. So right now we are done with this file.